Lieutenant Colonel Aisha Monroe stood triumphantly beside Officer Brett Callahan's totaled patrol car, the Nevada sun blazing overhead. Her phone still buzzed from a Pentagon call that had flipped the narrative. She smirked, believing she'd dismantled his racist power play, until another cruiser screeched onto the scene, tires smoking. Callahan's partner stormed out, gun drawn, spewing hateful slurs. What began as a routine stop had erupted into a full-blown battlefield. Aisha felt the wind leave her lungs. This encounter wouldn't just bruise her career. It threatened to shake her family, her future, her very sense of self. What now? Before we dive deeper, where are you watching from? If you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe for more. The Nevada sun beat down relentlessly on Highway 95, a strip of asphalt slicing through the desert some 50 miles outside Las Vegas. Heat mirages shimmered off the cracked earth. Behind the wheel of a silver SUV sat Lieutenant Colonel Aisha Monroe, a 40-year-old black woman with a spine like steel and eyes seasoned by experience. She gripped the steering wheel, the air conditioning purring softly in defiance of the 110-degree afternoon. She was on her way home from a military conference in Reno, her olive-green uniform still crisp despite the long journey. A thin sheen of sweat glistened on her forehead, the only betrayal of the day's wear. Her thoughts wandered back to the keynote she'd delivered, strategic logistics for rapid troop deployment. But a flicker in the rearview mirror pulled her sharply back to reality. A patrol cruiser, white with a gold stripe, trailed about a quarter-mile behind. Its headlights remained off, but its presence loomed. Aisha checked her speed, 67 miles per hour in a 60 zone. Technically close enough, but her gut tightened. She knew this scenario all too well. The cruiser surged forward, red and blue lights flaring through the dusty haze. Aisha sighed, turned on her signal, and gently eased the vehicle onto the shoulder. Gravel crunched beneath her tires. She straightened her posture, shoulders squared, hands fixed at 10 and 2. Years of experience had taught her that the world often saw her skin before her service. The patrol car idled behind her, engine rumbling. Officer Brett Callahan emerged, a wiry man in his late 30s with sun-scorched skin and a scowl baked into his expression. His uniform was wrinkled, his badge glinting aggressively. As he adjusted his belt, loaded with a holstered pistol and jangling handcuffs, he moved like someone who believed he owned this stretch of road. His squint at her California plates said it all. His judgment was made. Callahan strode up to the window, boots kicking up dust. He tapped the glass with a knuckle sharp, impatient. Aisha lowered it smoothly, maintaining a composed expression. "Good afternoon, officer. How can I help you?" He didn't respond at first. Instead, he leaned in close, his breath tinged with stale coffee. His pale blue eyes scanned her like she was nothing but roadside debris. "License and registration," he snapped, his tone clipped, laced with contempt. Aisha nodded and moved slowly, deliberately, toward the glove compartment. Every motion measured, telegraphed. She brushed her fingers over the wallet that held her military ID, but opted for her civilian driver's license instead. Pairing it with the vehicle's registration, she extended them, palms up. "Here you go." He snatched the documents and flipped through them with a flick of his wrist. His sneer deepened as he read her name aloud. "Aisha Monroe, Los Angeles, California, huh? You people always think you run the damn roads out here," he muttered, loud enough for her to hear. The phrase "you people" hit like a slap, thick with venom. Aisha's jaw tensed, but she remained poised. She was a lieutenant colonel, not some scared rookie. "Officer, may I ask why you pulled me over?" she inquired, her tone calm but firm, threaded with quiet authority. Callahan scoffed and ignored her question at first. His flashlight swung upward, the beam stabbing into her eyes. She squinted against the glare, her hands still fixed on the wheel. "Speeding," he grunted finally, the word smug. "Clocked you at 10 over. Were you headed in such a hurry?" Aisha knew he was lying. She hadn't been going 70, but she didn't challenge it. "Not yet. I'm returning home from a conference in Reno," she replied coolly. Didn't realize I was over the limit. Must have missed a sign. His eyes narrowed, dissecting her composed demeanor like it offended him. He leaned in further, his flashlight sweeping across her face, then drifting to the back seat. "Nice ride for a desert trip," he said, suspicion dripping from his voice. "Got anything in there I should know about? Weapons? Drugs? Cash?" Aisha's heart rate ticked up, but her expression didn't falter. She'd seen this game play out too many times. "No, officer," she replied evenly. "Just my belongings and some paperwork from work." His gaze flicked to the silver oak leaves pinned to her collar. For a heartbeat, he hesitated, registering the insignia. But the sneer returned, sharper now. "Work, huh? What's a gal like you doing dressed up like that? Halloween come early." The mockery was blatant, steeped in racism and ridicule. His tone is so casual it borders on dismissive, and Aisha feels heat rising in her chest. To him, she's not a driver, she's a target. "I'm a physician and a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve," she states, her voice crisp, each word a quiet assertion. "Attached to a medical unit out of Fort Irwin." She hopes that'll change the dynamic, maybe force him to rethink his approach. But Callahan laughs, a sharp, barking sound that bounces off the SUV's metal frame. "Sure you are, sweetheart. And I'm General Patton. Nice costume, though. Almost had me." He steps back, twirling her license between his fingers like a poker chip, his amusement turning into something darker. "You stay put. We're gonna have a little chat about where you really got this car." He struts back to his cruiser, leaving Aisha simmering in the driver's seat, the desert heat creeping through the open window. She watches him in the side mirror, his silhouette hunched over the radio, probably running her plates, looking for any excuse to escalate. Her thoughts race. This isn't a traffic stop anymore. It's personal. A power trip, fed by the color of her skin and the calm in her voice. She's dealt with racists before, uniformed or not, but Callahan has that reckless glint, the kind that says he's not done playing. The sun dips lower, casting long, slanting shadows across the road. Aisha braces herself. She has her training, her composure, and a phone in her pocket. She's ready for whatever's next. But ready might not be enough. Callahan's already decided she doesn't belong. Not on this road. Not in that uniform. Not anywhere he doesn't approve of. He's not just a cop, he's a gatekeeper. And Aisha's about to learn how far he'll go to put her in her place. His radio crackles faintly through the still air. She catches a low, conspiratorial tone, him muttering something about verifying her story. The desert stretches endlessly around them, a silent witness to the tension building. And Aisha knows, this is just the beginning. The Nevada sun now squats low on the horizon, painting Highway 95 in shades of burnt orange. The heat clings like a second skin. Aisha Monroe sits tense in her silver SUV, the engine clicking as it cools. Her hands remain locked on the steering wheel as Officer Brett Callahan lingers in his cruiser with her license. She knows exactly what he's doing, digging, hoping to find a reason to justify the disdain in his eyes. Her pulse beats steady but hard, drilled into her over years in uniform. Moments like this, where her skin speaks louder than her rank, are all too familiar. The desert remains eerily quiet, cacti standing like mute sentries. But the silence feels like a warning. Something worse is coming. After 5 long minutes, Callahan emerges, boots crunching with purpose. His face is twisted in smug triumph, his expression soured by disdain. He's empty-handed. No citation, no warning. Just that flashlight swinging loosely at his side and a cold glint in his stare. He stops at her window, again too close, casting a shadow across her lap. "Step out, girl," he barks, voice low and jagged like a blade on stone. "Or I'll pull you out myself, girl." The word hits like a punch, stripping away every ounce of respect she's earned. Aisha's breath catches, indignation flaring, but she doesn't flinch. She's no rookie. Escalation is his play, not hers. She unclips her seatbelt slowly, deliberately, and opens the door, stepping out with the calm precision of a soldier. Her 5 feet 9 inches frame stands tall, shoulders tense but unbowed. Callahan looms over her by 6 inches, his wiry build taut with hostility. Sunburned skin pulls tight over his sharp features. He reeks of sweat and cheap aftershave, a sour mix that curls in her nostrils as he circles her like a vulture. Turn around. Hands on the hood. He orders, voice laced with contempt, a predator scenting his prey. Aisha complies, placing her palms on the still warm metal. Heat seeps through her skin as she stares down the shimmering asphalt ahead. She feels his stare on her back, hears the faint jingle of handcuffs, and then his hands are on her, rough, invasive. He shoves between her shoulders, forcing her harder against the vehicle. Keep still, you uppity black trash, he growls, the slur vile, casual and calculated, wielded like a weapon. His fingers dig into her arms. Patting her down with force meant more to punish than to search. Knuckles grind into her ribs, palms scrape her hips. Her uniform, a symbol of duty and sacrifice, means nothing to him. He's not searching for contraband. He's tearing at her dignity. Think you're somebody, huh? He mutters, his breath hot against her ear as he yanks her jacket open, buttons popping. Out here, you're just another nobody I get to knock down. Aisha bites her tongue, tasting copper. Her instincts scream to fight back, but survival urges restraint. She's alone out here.
No backup. No witnesses.
Just one badge, one grudge, and a lot of hate. The frisk ends. He finds nothing but a pen and her keys. He steps back, frustrated, scowling. Stay right there, he snaps, circling to the driver's side. He doesn't ask permission. He rips open the door and dives into the SUV like a storm. Aisha turns her head slightly, watching out of the corner of her eye as he tears through her space. He flips open the center console. Pens and a granola bar scatter across the seat. He lunges for her duffel bag in the back, ripping it open. Her spare uniform tumbles out, epaulets catching the light. He scoffs and tosses it aside like trash. A polished case clatters to the floor, the one holding her service medals, earned through blood, sweat, and sacrifice. He stomps it under his boot, grinding his heel into the metal. Fancy toys. He sneers, still searching, still convinced she's hiding something. That don't exist. The passenger seat is next. He yanks open the glove compartment, dumping out folded maps and a first aid kit in a messy pile, then moves toward the trunk, popping it with a violent tug. Her medical bag, a compact survival kit from her army days, tumbles out. Bandages and gauze scatter across the gravel. He kicks them aside, muttering, "What's a doc need all this for? Bet she's hiding something." Aisha's fists clench against the hood, her nails biting into her palms, but she doesn't speak. Her face remains unreadable, stoic. He has no warrant, no real reason, only the poison in his own prejudice pushing this further. But out here, his badge is law, and to him, she's just a trespasser. The SUV jolts slightly as he slams the trunk shut, coming up empty again. His irritation twists into a scowl. He storms back toward her, flashlight rising to blind her once more, the beam a blazing accusation. "Too clean," he mutters, his tone tight with suspicion. "People like you always have something to hide, drugs, cash. I'll find it." Aisha meets his eyes through the blinding light, her composure cracking just enough to let a sliver of steel show through. "Officer, I've already told you who I am. Lieutenant Colonel Aisha Monroe, U.S. Army Reserve. There's nothing illegal in that vehicle. You're wasting your time." Her voice is calm, measured, a lifeline cast into a current of chaos. But instead of grounding him, it sparks a fire. "Wasting my time?" he explodes, stepping in so close that his spit lands on her cheek. "You don't get to tell me what to do, girl. I say jump, you jump. Or I make you." He grabs her arm, wrenching it behind her back. Pain flares through her shoulder, but she grits her teeth, stifling a reaction. He's not arresting her, not yet. Just provoking, waiting for an excuse to escalate. "You think that uniform scares me?" he growls, twisting harder. Out here, I'm the king, and you're just another stray I get to put in her place. The racism is overt now, wielded like a blade he has no intention of sheathing. Aisha feels the centuries pressing down in his words. She could break his grip, her training makes that an instinct, but the cost would be catastrophic. A black woman fighting a white cop on an empty road? That's not a risk she can take. He releases her with a rough shove, sending her stumbling into the SUV, her hips slamming against the metal door. Don't move a muscle, he snarls, circling back to his cruiser. His flashlight beam cuts through the fading light like a threat. Aisha straightens slowly, her breath ragged but even. Her mind is a storm, anger battling calculation. He's found nothing. Still, he's not done. She sees it in the tension of his shoulders, in the way he speaks into his radio, hushed, deliberate. She's a puzzle he refuses to leave unsolved. A threat to his tiny empire of power and dust. Her phone's still in her pocket, the backup one. A military-issued burner, kept for moments exactly like this. Her fingers twitch toward it, but she waits. Not yet. Not with his eyes still scanning her. The desert sinks into night, shadows swallowing the last streaks of sun. Callahan's voice floats back to her. Sharp. Intentional. We're not finished. Colonel, he calls out. The rank is laced with contempt, spat like a slur. He's plotting something. She can feel it. A storm is building in the quiet. She's faced down danger before in combat zones and conference rooms, but this is different. This is personal. Raw. Fueled by a hatred that doesn't care about her stars, her stripes, or her sacrifice. Her SUV sits stripped and silent behind her, a symbol of her invasion into his space. She knows whatever's next will be worse. Callahan isn't just a cop. He's a fuse, and she's the spark he's itching to extinguish. Night clamps down fully over Highway 95, the Nevada desert swallowing what's left of the light. The only illumination now is the faint metallic glint of Aisha Monroe's silver SUV and the pulsing red-blue flash of Callahan's patrol car. Aisha stands beside the wrecked vehicle, her uniform dusty and rumpled from his manhandling, her hip aching from where she hit the door. The air's cooled slightly, maybe 85 degrees, but sweat still beads across her brow, not from heat now, but fury. Callahan's back in his cruiser, hunched over the radio, static hissing as he mutters to someone she can't hear. Something about digging deeper. Her gut churns. He's not dropping this. Not after coming up with nothing but metals and medical supplies. She brushes a hand near her pocket, feeling the hard line of her emergency phone. Slim, military, encrypted. She carries it always. Tonight, it's her lifeline. She glances toward the cruiser. His silhouette is taut, energy brimming. He still has her license, her papers, her dignity crumpled in his hands. She's done waiting. With a slow, careful breath, she pulls the burner from her pocket, keeping it low, shielded by the SUV's bulk. Callahan's too busy posturing into the radio to notice. His voice rises slightly, cocky now. Yeah, she's clean, but I know she's hiding something. Aisha's lips tighten. He's spinning lies, building a trap. She's not about to let it snap shut. She punches in a number committed to memory. The line rings once, twice, then clicks. A familiar voice, sharp and certain, slices through the tension. Monroe? What's going on? Aisha doesn't blink. Eyes on Callahan, voice low and controlled. Major, I'm on Highway 95, about 50 miles outside Vegas. Stopped by Officer Brett Callahan. Dust Creek PD. He's harassing me. Searched my car without consent. Physically aggressive. Destroyed my personal phone. Claims it's about speeding. It's not. This is racial. I need intervention now. There's a beat of silence. Then Hensley's tone hardens into steel. Stay composed, Colonel. Put me on speaker. Aisha taps the button and lifts the phone just as Callahan steps out of his cruiser. Swagger faltering slightly at the sound of an unfamiliar voice cutting through the quiet. Officer Brett Callahan, Dust Creek Police Department. Major Carla Hensley announces, her voice slicing through the still air with command. This is Major Carla Hensley, United States Department of Defense, Pentagon Medical Intelligence Division. You are currently detaining Lieutenant Colonel Aisha Monroe, an active reservist under my direct command. Identify yourself immediately and explain the basis of this stop. Callahan halts mid-step, his flashlight dropping to his side, the beam cutting erratically across the gravel. His sunburned face loses color under the strobing red and blue of his own lights, eyes flicking between Aisha and the phone like it's a live grenade. Sweat beads along his upper lip, and for a moment, Aisha thinks he might retreat. His false bravado faltering, a bully suddenly unsure. But then his jaw tightens. He strides forward, voice climbing above the desert breeze. This ain't your turf, lady. She's mine. Speeding, acting sketchy, the whole package. I don't take orders from some office suit in D.C. Hensley's reply slices through the air, calm and calculated. Incorrect, officer. Colonel Monroe's current status makes her a federal asset. You are obstructing a reservist in the line of duty, violating Title 10, Section 1231. Give me your badge number or I escalate this to your sheriff, the State Patrol, and the FBI. Choose wisely. Aisha watches Callahan's Adam's apple bob. His fingers twitch, hovering near his belt. Not for his weapon, but for his radio. He's measuring the risks. She stands taller, holding the phone like a shield, her outer calm concealing the tempest within. Hensley's authority is her ace, and it's hitting hard. Callahan stammers. I was just doing my job. But the words land limp, unraveling fast. He wipes his brow, muttering, badge for 79, a flicker of victory lights in Aisha's chest. He's cornered. For 179, Hensley repeats, her tone clipped and authoritative. Stand down, Callahan. Return her documents, end the stop, and step away from her vehicle. You have no probable cause. This search was unlawful. We have her account on record. Dust creaks about to get a visit from Internal Affairs if you don't comply. Callahan's eyes narrow. Rage flashes beneath the panic, but he's boxed in. He pulls her license and registration from his pocket and slaps them onto the hood of her SUV. His stare is venomous. You think you're something special, huh? He sneers at Aisha, low enough that Hensley might not catch it. Bringing in your higher-ups doesn't change the game out here. Still, he's backing off. His boots drag, and his swagger deflates as he retreats to his cruiser, slamming the door with enough force to shake the frame. Aisha exhales, grabbing her documents, her fingers trembling faintly as she tucks them into her jacket. Thank you, Major, she says into the phone, her voice even again. I'm clear to leave? Hensley answers briskly, protective. Drive safe, Colonel. I'm logging this incident. Dust creaks on alert. Call if anything else happens. The line clicks off. Aisha pockets the burner phone, adrenaline draining into shaky relief. She won this time. Callahan slouches behind the wheel, headlights dimming as he shuts off the sirens. His power move dismantled by a single phone call. She climbs into her SUV, its ransacked interior a bitter reminder of his malice, and starts the engine. Dust swirls in the rearview as she pulls back onto the highway. The night stretches ahead, Vegas, a faint shimmer on the horizon, and for a fleeting moment, she allows herself to believe it's over. But it's not. As her taillights fade into the distance, Callahan's radio crackles to life. Inside his cruiser, his knuckles whiten on the wheel. He sits still, eyes fixed on the empty road ahead. Then he grabs the mic, voice low and tight. This isn't over, Colonel, he growls. Not to her, but to someone else on the other end. A response follows, gruff and ominous. We'll take care of it. The desert night holds what Aisha cannot see. Callahan isn't acting alone. His ego's bruised, but his hatred festers, alive and waiting. Allies lurk in the background, ready to strike. She drives on, victorious for now, unaware of the storm brewing behind her. The Pentagon's muscle rattled him, but it also lit a fuse, and it's burning fast. Aisha's tires hum against the asphalt, the desert wind slipping through her cracked window. Her grip on the wheel tightens, Hensley's voice replays in her mind, clear and commanding. It had been her armor, her rank, her weapon, and it worked. Callahan is nothing but a speck in the rearview mirror. She dares to believe she's untouchable now, that justice triumphed, that it's over. But the night knows better. Callahan isn't finished. He's been humiliated, and that makes him volatile. His parting words weren't a bluff, they were a threat. And the long stretch of highway ahead is about to turn into a battlefield. 20 miles beyond her confrontation, Aisha Monroe's silver SUV glides steadily down Highway 95. The tattered seats and scattered metals remain silent witnesses to Callahan's spite. Her hands stay firm on the wheel, her thoughts gradually settling into the relief of escape. Major Hensley's intervention still echoes in her ears. Then headlights bloom behind her. Sudden, fierce, a predatory glare carving through the night. Aisha's heart skips.
No sirens. No warnings.
Just speed, pure and aggressive. She narrows her eyes, catching the familiar flash of white and gold in her rearview. A Dust Creek patrol car. Its grille looks like a beast bearing down. Callahan. Her breath hitches. He's back. And this time, he's abandoned the rules altogether. Before she can react, the cruiser slams into her rear bumper. A bone-jarring jolt that jerks her forward, the seatbelt digging hard into her chest. The SUV fishtails wildly, tires shrieking against the pavement, and Aisha grips the wheel, instincts flaring to life. Her training kicks in as she fights to regain control. Son of a... She mutters through gritted teeth, but there's no time to finish. The cruiser strikes again, harder this time. Metal grinds against metal, and she can't hold it. Her SUV veers right, skidding off the road into a dry gulch. Gravel sprays like shrapnel as the vehicle lurches violently, bouncing over jagged rocks before slamming into a boulder. The hood crumples with a sickening crunch. Aisha's head snaps back. Pain flares through her neck, but she's conscious. Alert. Her hands fumble for the burner phone. Dust thickens the air as she peers through the cracked windshield. Callahan's cruiser screeches to a halt 20 yards up. The driver's door flies open. He storms out, a wiry shape crackling with fury. But he's not alone. Another man steps out from the passenger side. Officer Dale Pute, a brute of a man, his buzz-cut head gleaming under the moonlight. A swastika tattoo curling out from his rolled-up sleeve as he flexes his fists. Aisha's stomach sinks. This isn't enforcement. It's an ambush. Callahan strides toward her, face twisted into a mask of hatred, eyes blazing with vindictive glee. Thought you could run to your big shot buddies, huh? He yells, his voice sharp and cruel. Pentagon can't help you now, girl. The slur cracks through the air like a whip. Pute lets out a guttural laugh as they move in. Aisha kicks her door open and stumbles onto the rocky terrain. Her uniform clings to her sweat-slicked skin. She's bruised, rattled, but standing firm. Feet set, hands clenched. Back off, Callahan, she warns, her voice steady despite everything. You're burying yourself. He sneers, drawing his cuffs. The steel catches the moonlight, shining like a threat. Pute strikes first, lunging at her. His massive hands clamp onto her arms, pinning them behind her back with crushing force. Her shoulder flares with pain as she struggles, reflexes kicking in, but he's too powerful. His grip is iron. He slams her face into the dirt. Gravel tears her cheek. Blood trickles. Callahan's boots crunch closer. You're mine now, he hisses, locking the cuffs around her wrists. The metal bites deep, resisting arrest. That's what this is, he sneers. Should have kept in your lane, Black. The venom in his words is thick, pure, unfiltered hatred. Racial, raw, primal. Aisha's thoughts race. 2 against 1. No phone.
No allies.
She's survived firefights, patched up soldiers under mortar fire. But this is personal. A vendetta inked onto her skin and rank. Pute yanks her upright. His fat fingers dig into her arms. Callahan paces in circles like a predator. His flashlight now a weapon, he taps it against his palm. Pentagon, huh? He growls. Big words. Then he swings. The flashlight slams into her knee. Pain detonates, sharp and hot. Aisha gasps, her leg buckling, but Pute holds her firm, forcing her to take the blow. Out here, I'm in charge, Callahan growls, his voice low and triumphant. No one's coming for you. Blood trails down her face, mixing with dust. Her vision wavers, but her spirit stays firm. She's a colonel, damn it, not some broken woman. Her eyes scan the SUV. The burner phone might still be in the wreckage. But Pute's grip is locked, and Callahan's about to strike again, aiming for her ribs. The gulch is dead silent, save for their breathing and the faint hum of cars in the distance. Callahan isn't just angry, he's deranged. And Pute, a racist brute who sees this as a sport. That call to the Pentagon, she'd thought it was her shield, her out. For a moment, she had won. Now, the taste of victory is replaced by blood and dust and something colder. Rage. They drag her toward the cruiser, boots scraping against rocks. Callahan mutters about teaching her a lesson. Pute laughs, his tattoo flexing with every step. She's cuffed, outnumbered, but not broken. There's always a way out. The cruiser's trunk pops open, a gaping black hole waiting to swallow her. Callahan's grin widens, predator savoring the moment. No DC suits now, he says, shoving her closer. Just you and us. Aisha's heart slams in her chest, but her training sharpens. Stay alive. Stay alert. Look for the crack. Wait for your moment. The desert night watches silently as they manhandle her closer. Their laughter echoes across the gulch like a threat. She beat him once with a phone call, but now Callahan's changed the rules. And this time, his revenge is up close. Brutal. Personal. Hey folks, what do you think? Drop a 1 in the comments if you believe Aisha's strength is what's keeping her fighting against these corrupt, racist officers. Smash that like if you're standing with her, and subscribe for what comes next. Justice isn't finished yet. Don't miss the next twist. Inside the Dust Creek cruiser, shocks groan as it bounces over pothole-ridden back roads. It's been 20 minutes since the ambush in the gulch. Aisha Monroe sits crammed in the back seat, wrists aching from the tight cuffs. Her uniform is caked in dirt and blood. Her knee throbs from the blow of Callahan's flashlight. The air is thick, stale, reeking of sweat and motor oil. The scratched plexiglass divider boxes her in, a cage of their making. Callahan drives, hunched forward, wiry frame tense, his knuckles ghost white on the wheel. Pute rides shotgun, massive body nearly spilling into the back seat. One beefy hand tapping the dashboard to some silent rhythm. They're quiet now, but the silence is electric. Callahan seething with fury, Pute quietly enjoying the aftermath. Aisha knows this isn't the end. Her SUV lies wrecked in the desert. Her phone, gone. Vegas. Feels like another world. The cruiser jerks as it enters Dust Creek, a forgotten town of rundown trailers and weathered signs. The kind of place where starlight outshines the street lamps. They roll to a stop in front of a squat concrete station, its neon sheriff sign flickering like a dying heartbeat. Callahan shuts off the engine, and Pute yanks open the back door. His swastika tattoo is stark beneath the harsh floodlights as he drags Aisha out. She stumbles, her injured knee nearly giving way, but he yanks her upright, his fingers leaving bruises on her arm. "Move it," he growls, shoving her forward. Callahan leads the way, his boots echoing across cracked pavement, and Aisha's thoughts race. Stay alert, take note of everything. The station door creaks open, revealing a dim lobby reeking of mildew and old cigarette smoke. Behind the counter, a pudgy deputy with a graying mustache leans back, eyes lighting up with a smirk as Callahan hauls her in. Well, what do we have here?" the deputy says, leaning forward. His badge reads Hicks. Callahan tosses Aisha's crumpled license on the desk, his voice sharp with malice. "Caught her resisting arrest out on 95. Speeding. Got violent. Real piece of work." Pute nods, popping his neck. "Yeah, she took a swing at us. Nearly clocked Brett." The lies are so outrageous Aisha almost laughs, but her jaw's tight, blood dried on her cheek. Despite everything, she stands tall in her tattered uniform, her voice firm. That's a lie. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Aisha Monroe, U.S. Army Reserve. They assaulted me, rammed me off the road. I need a phone call. Now. Hicks blinks, then chuckles, eyeing her insignia like it's a Halloween prop. Army, huh? Sure, princess. You're a disorderly nobody, till I say different. Callahan leans in, his breath sour. She's full of it. Hicks, check her story if you want, but she's spending the night in a cell. Hicks shrugs and slowly taps her ID into an ancient-looking computer. The monitor glows green.
No warrants.
Clean record, he mutters, but it's clear he doesn't care. Doesn't mean anything, he says, scribbling on a log sheet and marking her as Jane Doe. Disorderly conduct. Aisha's stomach knots. This isn't confusion, it's a system, a machine built to crush her. I have rights, she says firmly. A lawyer, a phone call, you're breaking protocol. Hicks only smirks and nods to Pute, who grabs her arm again. Here, we do things our way. They drag her down a narrow hallway, the flickering lights above casting sharp shadows. The air stinks of bleach and urine. A steel door swings open, revealing a tiny holding cell, 8 by 10, with concrete walls covered in graffiti. Go back to Africa, is scrawled in black marker. A swastika scratched beside it. Pute shoves her inside. The cuffs dig deeper as she hits the wall, her shoulders screaming in protest. Enjoy your stay, Colonel. Callahan sneers, spitting the title like an insult. They finally unshackle her, and she rubs her wrists, blood smearing her palms. But before she can speak, the cell door slams shut. The lock clicks, their boots fade. Hicks's laughter echoes faintly, and she's alone. The cold of the cell seeps into her bones. She paces the cramped space. Just 3 steps, wall to wall, her knee flaring with every movement. A rusted bench is bolted to the floor. A cracked sink drips in the corner. No window.
No clock.
Only the dim hum of a flickering bulb. Her uniform is a mess, dried blood stiff on the collar. Her medals, symbols of a life of service, are gone, crushed under Callahan's boot in the gulch. She'd thought her rank would protect her, that someone would verify her story. But Dust Creek is a trap, built to silence her. Callahan's ridiculous claim that she attacked them was bought without question. Hicks didn't even blink, and Pute's brute strength enforced the lie. Her phone's gone, her voice dismissed. The Pentagon a distant mirage. Aisha sinks onto the bench, gritting her teeth against the pain in her knee, eyes scanning the cell for options. The hateful graffiti taunts her, echoes of faceless bigotry. She clenches her fists, nails biting into her palms. She's a doctor.
A colonel.
40 years of breaking barriers, healing soldiers, leading with honor. And now she's just a number. Callahan's satisfaction lingers in her memory. He's not just imprisoning her, he's erasing her, proving his petty kingdom outweighs her stars. And Pute? Just muscle, a hateful thug happy to beat her for sport. She'd outwitted Callahan before, with Hensley's help, with the call to the Pentagon. But this goes deeper. The system itself is closing in. The hours drag. Minutes stretch endlessly, marked only by the steady drip of the sink and the memory of Callahan's visit. His chilling promise. But her mind doesn't rest. Her burner phone is gone, yes, but her training isn't. She's endured worse. An ambush in the Iraqi desert. A clinic crumbling under mortar fire. This is a new battlefield, but she's still a warrior. She taps the bench, counting beats, steadying her pulse. Every detail is fuel for later. When the chance comes, and it will come, she'll strike. Callahan thinks he's won, that this cell is her tomb. But he doesn't know Aisha Monroe. Hicks's indifference, Pute's fists, they're just pieces on a board. And she's waiting to flip the table. Then footsteps. They echo down the hall, slow, deliberate. Aisha tenses, rising despite the pain. A key rattles in the lock. But it's not freedom. It's Callahan, grinning through the bars, his flashlight tapping on the steel. The same one that cracked her knee. Settling in, Colonel? He sneers. No DC brass coming to save you tonight. Sweet dreams. Tomorrow's gonna be fun. He lingers, feeding off her silence, then turns away. His laughter lingers in the air like smoke. Aisha stares after him, her jaw clenched, her will sharpening. He's wrong. Tomorrow doesn't belong to him. She'll make sure of it. But for now, the walls close in. The graffiti leers, and the system leans heavy on her shoulders, whispering that she's alone. For now, she is. Tomorrow still echoing in her mind. She sits alone, stripped of her phone, her rank dismissed by a system that sees only the color of her skin. But Aisha isn't finished. She's a colonel, a survivor, and this cell won't be her tomb. She shifts, wincing as pain pulses through her injured knee, and runs her fingers along her uniform's collar, feeling the stiffened fabric until they catch on a hairpin. A small silver remnant from the conference updo she'd worn in Reno. It's bent, barely an inch long, but it's something. Her heartbeat quickens, a flicker of possibility sparking in her chest. She pulls it free, the cool metal pressing into her palm, and eases herself onto the floor beside the cell door. Her back against the concrete wall, ears attuned to the hallway. Silence except for the faint snores of Hicks, the sluggish deputy snoozing 30 feet away. Callahan and Pute had left an hour earlier, their cruiser's growl fading into the dark, certain she was beaten. Caged. They're wrong. Aisha kneels, her leg trembling but steady, and examines the lock. A basic pin and tumbler, corroded from years of neglect. She's no expert, but she's done worse. Back in training, when her unit practiced escape and evasion in mock POW camps. Her hands steady, a surgeon's focus taking over as she slides the pin into the keyhole. She bends it with her thumb into a crude lockpick and begins probing, searching for the mechanism. Her breath comes shallow, every click a risk. Sweat beads along her hairline. The bulb overhead flickers, casting jumpy shadows. But she finds the first pin, then the second, third. Her fingers ache as metal scrapes metal. Finally, after 10 nerve-wracking minutes, the lock gives a soft thunk. The door creaks open just an inch, but it's enough. The scent of freedom hits her. Bleach, dust, cold air. Real. She eases the door wider, flinching with each groan of the hinges, and peers into the hallway. Hicks slumps at the desk, head tilted back, a half-empty coffee mug near his elbow. The station's weak lighting bathes him in a sickly yellow hue. Aisha slips out. Her boots whisper across cracked linoleum. Her knee throbs, but she ignores it. She's a ghost, gliding low past a corkboard cluttered with wanted posters. None feature her. Not yet. The exit's 20 feet away. But escape isn't enough. She needs to strike back. Her eyes lock onto a rack of keys behind Hicks. Dozens of rings, but one labeled Patrol 3, a deputy's truck. Her ride out. She edges forward, breath held, each step a tightrope act. Hicks stirs, snorts. She freezes, heart pounding. But he slumps again, drool trailing down his chin. She snatches the keys, the jingle muted in her grip, and turns toward a side door labeled Garage. It's unlocked. Typical. Sloppy. She slips through. The night air slaps her face. Crisp, about 65 degrees. The garage is a tight box. 2 cruisers and a battered Ford pickup wedged inside. She spots Patrol 3, its blue paint peeling. Slipping into the seat, vinyl cold against her shredded uniform, she fits the keys into the ignition. The engine grumbles to life with a low rumble. She silently begs Hicks to keep sleeping. He does. Aisha pulls out. The garage door rattles upward as she guns it. Tires screeching onto Dust Creek's deserted streets. The town flashes past. Shuttered gas stations, a flickering dinosaur sign. Her headlights slice through the dark. She's free. The cell behind her. Callahan's smug grin just a memory now. One she'll erase completely soon. Vegas lies 40 miles south. She heads straight for it, the speedometer creeping past 70. Her thoughts race faster. 10 miles out, she spots a gas station. Its neon sign blinking, open 24/7. A beacon in the dark. She pulls in, dust swirling around the truck. The clerk inside is a wiry teenager, acne-scarred, barely glancing up from his phone as she strides to the counter, her battered uniform a declaration. "I need your radio," she says, voice firm. He blinks, shrugs, and slides it over. A cheap CB, buzzing with static. She tunes to the frequency burned into her memory. Hensley's direct line. After a burst of crackling silence, the Major's voice cuts in. "Monroe? Where the hell are you?" Aisha exhales, relief flooding her system. "Dust Creek, Major. Escaped a holding cell. Callahan and his partner ran me off the road. Fabricated charges. I'm in a stolen truck heading to Vegas." Silence. Then Hensley barks, "Stay on the line. I'm dispatching MPs from Nellis, ETA 30 minutes. You're a federal asset. This is war now." Aisha nods, though he can't see it. Hope wells up inside her. She's made it. She's alive. And the Pentagon's on its way. Callahan's kingdom ends tonight. She thanks the kid, now staring at her blood-streaked face in wide-eyed awe, and hurries back to the truck. The CB crackles in her lap, a lifeline. The highway stretches before her, Vegas a faint glow in the distance. She floors it. The pickup rattles but holds. Her knee is a steady throb. Her cheek stings, but she grins fierce, unshaken. She's beaten the lock, the station, the odds. And Hensley's voice is a promise of justice. The night belongs to her now. The stars shine down, silent witnesses to her defiance. She's a colonel again, not a prisoner. And Dust Creek is about to learn what that really means. But the night sees what she doesn't. Headlights flare in the rearview, just 10 meters back. A souped-up SUV barrels through the darkness, its engine snarling like a beast. Callahan and Pute, tipped off by a crooked dispatcher who saw the truck's theft flash across the screen in silence. An alarm blares silently in the background. They're not finished. They're rabid, armed, and closing in fast, weapons glinting in their laps. Aisha's escape had been a triumph, a bold, glorious middle finger to their bigotry, but it's also poured gasoline on their rage. She races toward safety, unaware. The CB hums with Hensley's commands, while the desert behind her holds its breath for the storm approaching. "Hey, what do you think?" Aisha's breakout was pure determination, right? Comment number 1 if you believe her tactical training is the reason she's still breathing. Hit like if you're rooting for her. Subscribe for the next wild twist. She's not backing down, and neither should you. Now picture this. Aisha's got the Pentagon in her corner. But what if Callahan's crew catches her before help arrives? Buckle up. The stolen Ford pickup growls down Highway 95, its engine coughing under pressure as Aisha Monroe forces it to 80 miles per hour. The neon shimmer of Las Vegas is now a real promise, just 30 miles ahead. The desert night flies past, cool air slicing through the cracked window, stinging the gash on her cheek, gravel-borne from the ambush. Her uniform is a torn relic, stiff with dried blood and desert grit, but her hands stay firm on the wheel. Her knee throbs, a steady pain she tunes out. Beside her, the CB crackles. Major Hensley's voice steady and controlled. "MPs are en route, Colonel. Hold position." Aisha's chest tightens, full of fierce hope. She's out of Dust Creek's hellhole. A single hairpin and a mountain of willpower got her here. The Pentagon's cavalry is on its way. Callahan, she tells herself, is in the past. The cell, the station, just memories in the rearview. Then her side mirror catches a flare, headlights. Twin beams slicing the night, closing in quickly from behind. Aisha's breath stutters. Her eyes lock on the mirror. A black SUV, jacked up on monster tires, its front grille a snarling beast hurtling through the darkness. No sirens, no logos, just raw, unchecked speed. Her gut screams what her mind already knows. Callahan and Pute, they've tracked her. The pickup's silent alarm must have tipped off a dirty dispatcher. They're running on venom now. Her pulse surges. Adrenaline floods her system. She slams the gas. The Ford groans, lurching to 85 miles per hour, the chassis rattling under the strain. The CB squawks again. "Monroe status?" But she can't respond. Not now. Not with death barreling down behind her. The SUV gains ground fast, its engine growling with rage. The gap shrinks to half a mile, then a quarter. Aisha weaves through sparse traffic, an occasional semi, a wandering pickup, her palms slick with sweat. The desert warps into streaks of darkness and dry brush. Vegas grows larger, its skyline teasing from the horizon. But the SUV doesn't let up. Its headlights blind her cab. Then bang! It slams her rear bumper. Metal grinds. The Ford fishtails, tires screeching as she wrestles it under control. "Damn it!" she shouts, voice lost in the wind. She glances back. Callahan's behind the wheel, face twisted in rage. Pute leans out the window, his pale, buzz-cut head a blur. A shotgun gleams in his grip. The first blast shreds her rear window. Glass explodes inward. Shards tear at her neck as she ducks. She jerks the wheel hard. The tires bite asphalt. The second shot rips into the pavement beside her. Too close. Blood trickles down her collar, warm and steady. But she's still moving, still breathing. Her brain snaps into combat logic. Outmaneuver them. Survive. Vegas glows just 15 miles out, its neon veins throbbing in the black. Then she sees it. A construction zone ahead. Orange barrels, steel cranes, a skeletal overpass. She aims for it. The SUV stays glued to her bumper, Callahan ramming her again. The jolt launches her forward. Pute fires again. Boom! A slug punches through her tailgate, missing her spine by inches. She growls through clenched teeth, hears a faint rumble in the distance, and makes her move, cutting sharply into the work zone. Barrels scatter like bowling pins. She slips through the chaos between cranes. Callahan follows, reckless. The SUV's tires scream as he barrels in behind her. Pute fires wildly now, bullets ricocheting off steel supports. But Aisha's smaller, faster. This twisted maze is her terrain. She spots a ramp, steep, gravel-covered. She guns it. The pickup scrambles upward, suspension groaning in protest. The SUV charges after her, too big, too fast. She sees her chance. A sharp bend, a deadly drop-off to the left. She fakes right, then yanks the wheel left. The pickup skids, gravel spraying into the void. Callahan takes the bait. Too late. His SUV overshoots the turn, momentum betraying him. It sails off the edge, flipping through the air. A horrific crash. Metal twists. Glass erupts. Then boom. A fireball rises from the desert floor. Aisha slams the brakes. The pickup skids to a halt atop the ramp. Dust thickens around her. She stares at the wreckage. Flames licking the SUV. Black smoke spiraling upward. It might be over. Callahan and Pute, gone in their own fury. Her chest rises and falls, lungs shaking with the weight of it. She grabs the CB, voice rough. "Hensley, they chased me. Crashed in a construction zone, 10 miles out of Vegas. I'm clear." The major's reply snaps through the static. "Copy that, Colonel. MP's 5 minutes out. State troopers too. Hold tight." Aisha exhales. The Ford's engine ticks in the silence. She leans back, neck bleeding, knee howling, but alive. Sirens rise on the wind. Red and blue lights crest the horizon. She lets herself breathe. She's won. The troopers arrive first. 2 cruisers skidding to a halt, dust swirling around them. 4 officers leap out, weapons raised, voices barking commands. She raises her hands, slow and measured. The CB still crackling beside her. Hensley's voice in the background. "Identify yourself." The officers pause, lower their guns. They see the uniform, the blood, the truth carved into her stance. "Lieutenant Colonel Aisha Monroe," she says, voice ragged but unshaken. "Army Reserve." They nod. One calls into his radio. Suspects down. Crash site secured. The MPs roll in next. Humvees grinding to a stop. Soldiers pour out, rifles ready. Their captain steps forward, buzz cut sharp, snapping a crisp salute. Despite the mayhem, the colonel from the Nellis detachment assured her, "You're safe now." Aisha nodded, weariness sinking deep, and pointed toward the burning wreckage below. They didn't stop. They opened fire on me. It's over. The troopers cuffed Callahan and Pute, dragging them from the wreckage. Still alive but barely. Smoke curled around them as they stumbled, bruised and gasping. Callahan's arm hung uselessly at his side, blood trailing down his sun-scorched face. Pute groaned, his tattooed arm twisted at a grotesque angle. They were breathing but crushed, defeated. Their shotguns were seized, their power extinguished. Aisha watched, her victory tinged with bitterness. Her body throbbed with pain, neck lacerated, knee swollen, spirit battered but unbroken. She had turned their hunt into their humiliation. The MPs formed a wall around her, protection she had earned with a desperate call 12 miles back. This stretch of highway was now a battleground she'd conquered, and Vegas beamed in the distance. A finish line finally crossed. But as the troopers dragged Callahan past, his head lolled and he spat blood onto the gravel, his voice a rasp beneath the rising sirens. "My brother runs this state. You're dead." The words pierced her relief like a needle, a toxic thread unraveling her calm. Aisha's eyes narrowed, the taste of triumph suddenly bitter. Pute was silent, but his glare was pure malice, a reflection of Callahan's final threat. The MPs secured her in a Humvee, the captain murmuring about corruption higher up, but Aisha's mind was spinning. Brother? State? She had believed this was the end, that the crash had closed the chapter. But Callahan's last words cracked her certainty. The desert wasn't done. 10 miles from the crash site, the Las Vegas precinct buzzed with tension. Aisha Monroe sat slumped in a rigid plastic chair. Her uniform was a blood-streaked mess, her neck bandaged by an MP medic, her knee throbbing beneath an ice pack. The room was sterile, gray walls, flickering fluorescence, the faint scent of burnt coffee. Troopers and Nellis MPs moved around her, chattering about the incident. Callahan and Pute were locked in a holding cell down the corridor. Their wrecked SUV stood as a smoldering monument to her resilience. She debriefed the MP captain, a lean man named Torres. Her voice was gravel, but it didn't waver. "They chased me, fired at me, tried to kill me," she said, hands clasped tightly to steady her nerves. Torres nodded, jotting notes, his salute still fresh in her memory. She was safe now, she repeated silently. The Pentagon was backing her. Then the precinct door slammed open. A new figure entered, power in every step. He was in his 50s, tall and broad in a sleek charcoal suit that reeked of money and authority. His silver hair was combed back, his jaw sharply cut like a campaign ad, but his eyes were unmistakable Callahan eyes. Pale blue, icy, ruthless. Senator Travis Callahan, Brett's older brother. He moved like he owned the room. His leather loafers tapped the linoleum floor with precision. A trail of aides followed, silent and obedient. Troopers stood straighter, conversation fading. Torres muttered, "Shit," under his breath and stood to greet him. Aisha's stomach churned. Brett's last words weren't just bravado, they were prophecy. Travis bypassed Torres completely, locking eyes with Aisha. His gaze was a blade, and she felt its edge. "So you're the one," he said coolly.
Lieutenant-colonel Monroe, ou?
"The hero who laid out my kid brother." His smirk was all teeth and no warmth. Aisha stood, every muscle aching, but her spine straight. "He attacked me, Senator. Ran me off the road. Shot at me. Your brother's a criminal." Her tone was iron, but Travis chuckled, the sound cold. He pulled a folded document from his blazer and tossed it onto the table beside her. "Not according to this." Aisha glanced down. A warrant, fresh ink, her name in bold. Charges: assault on a peace officer, reckless endangerment, theft of county property. Her breath caught. "This is bogus," she said, snapping her eyes toward Torres, who was already on the radio, asking questions. Travis gave a casual shrug, like he was discussing lunch. "Signed by Judge Harrove, good friend, golf partner. You attacked a decorated officer, stole his vehicle, led him on a chase. That's the narrative." He leaned in, his cologne sharp, voice dropping to a hiss. And you think a Pentagon favor scares me? I own Nevada. Troopers hesitated. Hands drifted toward their belts. Travis wasn't just a senator, he was a storm. Torres tried to interject. Sir, we've got witnesses. Dashcam footage. Her story checks. Doesn't matter? Travis snapped, waving dismissively. She's lying. Her word against Brett's. And I've got the paperwork. He nodded to an aide who pulled out a phone and played a video. A distorted clip. Aisha's voice shouting during the chase. Doctored to make her seem unhinged. Her heart sank. Her burner phones were lost. The footage manipulated. Their truth turned against her. This is, Torres started, but the troopers backed away. Their gazes flicked to Travis. The tide was turning. You're under arrest, Travis declared, signaling to a young, freckled trooper. The trooper looked uneasy, but approached with handcuffs. Aisha raised her hands on instinct, then dropped them slowly. Her mind raced. This won't stick, she said quietly. The Pentagon's got my 6. Travis smiled wider, a predator basking in control. Not anymore. I spoke to Major Hensley, told her you're unstable. A thief. She's reevaluating your status. The lie hit harder than any bullet. But was it a lie? Hensley's silence on the radio haunted her. The cuffs clicked closed. Take her to county, Travis ordered. My facility. No calls. No lawyer. The MPs stiffened. Torres barked back. She's federal personnel. But Travis flashed another document, a fake transfer order. The troopers hesitated, then relented. Aisha was led out, boots scuffing the tile. The noise of the precinct dulled behind her. The van ride was short, 10 miles to a private detention center on Vegas's fringe. A fortress of concrete and razor wire, funded by Travis's donors. She was processed without questions. Her uniform taken, logged as evidence, then shoved into a cell. The clang of the door echoed like a final sentence. The space was larger than Dust Creek's holding, but worse. 20 inmates, hard eyes, moldy walls. A guard sneered as he handed her a jumpsuit. Orange. Shameful. Senator's orders, he said. Aisha stood, uncuffed but imprisoned. Her rank stolen, her voice buried. She'd outrun Brett, survived Pute, but Travis Callahan was the real predator. And now, he had her locked in his cage. Drowning in deceit, the Pentagon had been her lifeline. But Travis's claim, that Hensley was beginning to doubt her, festers like rot. She's alone again, the system bending beneath the weight of a racist dynasty. And her fight is only beginning all over again. The private jail on the outskirts of Las Vegas is a concrete abyss. Its cell block, a pit of despair, where Aisha Monroe now stands stripped of everything. Her uniform replaced by a loose, degrading orange jumpsuit that drapes over her bruised frame like a shroud. The air is damp, thick with mildew and the acrid stench of unwashed bodies. Despite the desert night beyond its walls, the cell hangs at a clammy 70 degrees. Steel bars slam shut behind her, the metallic thud echoing through graffiti-smeared walls, racial slurs carved deep like scars. A chorus of hate welcomes her into Senator Travis Callahan's personal dungeon. Her neck is bandaged, her knee a throbbing knot of pain, and red marks from handcuffs ring her wrists. But her gaze still burns with a soldier's defiance. 20 inmates surround her, hardened women with hollow stares and inked fists, eyeing her like wolves sizing up fresh prey. The guard who shoved her inside, a bulky man with a buzz cut and a smug grin, badge labeled Vance, lingers by the bars, twirling his baton with mockery. Senator says you're special, he drawls. No uniform's gonna save you here, princess. Then he turns and leaves, his boots stomping down the corridor, leaving Aisha alone, exposed. She's a physician.
A colonel.
For decades commanding respect. But now, thanks to Travis's forged arrest warrant, she's been dumped in a pit where her rank is a joke. The cell is a 20 by 30 rectangle, 3 tiers of bunks bolted to the walls. A single flickering bulb casts jagged shadows across the room. A rusted toilet in the corner leaks constantly, and the floor is slick with grime. Footsteps shuffle closer. A wiry inmate with greasy blonde hair and a scar splitting her eyebrow approaches. Her voice is a gravelly rasp. "New girl, huh? What did you do to piss off the big man?" Aisha meets her stare, steady despite the pain. "Wrong place. Wrong skin," she replies flatly. The scarred woman barks out a laugh and nods toward the others. 6 more move in, their expressions a mix of hostility and intrigue. Hard to tell which is worse. "Yeah, that'll do it," Scar mutters. But there's no friendliness, only the foreboding edge of an imminent test. Aisha's seen this before. Hostile new units, suspicious glares, but this place is something else. This is raw. A crucible forged from Travis's spite. The door slams again. Vance returns with 2 more guards, both massive, their batons gleaming under the strip light. "Suit her down," Vance orders. Before Aisha can move, they're on her. Hands ripping at the jumpsuit, tearing it in jagged strips. She fights back, elbows striking, but a baton cracks against her ribs, doubling her over. They yank away the medals the MPs had salvaged, yanking the chain from her neck and tossing them into the filth. "No heroes here," Vance sneers, shoving her naked body against the icy wall. The inmates jeer as her dignity is shredded. Her skin prickles with shame, but she locks her jaw. She's not breaking. Not yet. They drag her down the corridor to solitary, a 6x6 cell at the block's far end. The walls drip with condensation, the floor stained and reeking from a rusted drain. The door slams shut, leaving only darkness, save for a sliver of light from a rusted vent above. Water's cut, food's withheld. Travis's orders. Vance had grinned before leaving. The guards mock her through the slot in the door. Black girl thinks she's tough. One taunts with a nasal whine. "Starve her out." Another laughs. Their footsteps fade. Aisha slumps against the damp wall, her ribs a pulsing ache, her knees screaming. But she's still breathing, still planning. With a splinter from the doorframe, she carves a 9-square grid into the concrete. Tic-tac-toe to keep her mind sharp, her sanity intact. Hours blur into days, maybe 2, maybe 3. Time has no meaning in this place. Her stomach growls. Her lips crack from thirst. But she paces 3 steps each way, conserving energy. Travis comes on the 3rd night. His silhouette fills the door's slit. His pristine suit a grotesque contrast to the filth around her. "No black colonel humiliates my family," he says, his voice smooth and venom-laced. His pistol taps the bars rhythmically. "You're nothing here. Hensley's dropped you. Your unit's done. Route." He's bluffing, she hopes, but the silence from the Pentagon claws at her, planting seeds of fear. He walks away, his polished shoes tapping down the hallway. Aisha clenches her fists, the splinter digging deeper into her palm. X's and O's, her silent vow. The guards return, their cruelty amplified. Buckets of icy water sloshed through the slot. It soaks her, leaves her shivering, trembling. "Dance, monkey," Vance cackles. They bang the bars, their rhythm a torture of its own. She stands, drenched and exposed, refusing to shrink. Her training grounds her. Survive, adapt, strike, and then a crack opens. A new guard, a skinny kid, eyes darting with nerves, appears during a shift change. His baton trembles in his grip. I don't like this," he mutters, glancing toward the slot. He slides something inside. A burner phone. Cheap, scratched, but alive. "You didn't get it from me," he whispers before vanishing. Aisha grabs it, her hands trembling. She dials. "Hensley," she rasps. "It's me. Private jail, Vegas outskirts. Travis Callahan's got me. Forged charges. No food. Beatings. I need out." Hensley's voice crackles through, filled with fury. "Monroe, Jesus. We thought you went AWOL. Travis fed us lies. MPs are on their way. FBI too. Hold on." Aisha exhales, hope flooding her. The phone clutched like a lifeline in the dark. Her lifeline reborn, Aisha's grip tightens again. The Pentagon's wrath is descending, and Travis's games are beginning to unravel. She tucks the phone beneath her arm, hiding it just as the sound of footsteps echoes. Vance is back for more. Suddenly, alarms blare, sharp and shrill, and Aisha's body tenses. Hope flares within her. Rescue must be close. But the cell, with all its darkness, knows better. Travis's traps are springing, and the alarms aren't a signal of salvation. Vance's face fills the slot in the door, his sneer wide. "Riot time, princess," he spits, stepping back. The cell block erupts in chaos. Doors clang open, inmates scream, and Aisha's heart sinks. Travis isn't waiting for her to rot. He's ending her now, turning the prison into a battleground. Her phone is her ace, but the chaos outside belongs to him, and she's naked, starved, cornered. Her fight is far from over, it's just beginning. Harder, meaner. A storm she'll have to weather alone until help breaks through. The solitary cell is a frigid tomb. Its damp walls seem to close in on Aisha Monroe as the alarms wail through the night, a piercing shriek that shakes her bones. She's soaked from the guards' water torture. Her ribs ache, her lips cracked from 3 days without food. But the burner phone, slipped to her by the nervous guard, burns beneath her arm. It's a fragile lifeline, dialed to Major Hensley minutes ago. The slot flickers to life. Vance's sneer disappears, his riot time taunt now fueling the cell block's madness. Beyond the steel doors, the sound of bangs and screams erupts. Travis Callahan's trap, a kill order disguised as chaos. Aisha's heart pounds. Her breath comes in shallow gasps, the 60 degrees chill biting at her. Every instinct tells her to survive. She's a colonel, not a corpse. Hensley's MPs are on the way, a promise she clings to if she can outlast this storm. The solitary door groans as its lock turns, and Aisha tenses, pressing herself flat against the wall. The phone clutched tightly in her hand. The door swings wide, revealing Scar, the wiry inmate with the scarred eyebrow. Her grin is feral, a jagged shiv gleaming in her hand. "Boss says you're the snitch," Scar rasps, stepping inside with 2 more hulking inmates behind her, their heads shaved and tattoos marking their allegiance. They're armed with broken chair legs. Aisha's eyes dart, assessing her attackers. The others are strong. The cell is a choke point. "This is Travis's setup," she says, her voice steady despite her trembling legs. "I'm no snitch. I'm his target." Scar shrugs and lunges. The shiv slashes through the air. Aisha twists, her training kicking in. Pain feels distant. She grabs Scar's wrist, wrenching it back, making the shiv clatter to the floor. A sharp elbow strikes Scar's throat, a precise surgical strike. Scar stumbles, gasping, and Aisha pivots to face the brutes. The first swings his club at her head. She ducks, ramming her shoulder into his gut. Her starved frame still carries enough force to knock him into the bunk. The second lunges, his fist grazing her jaw. Aisha sidesteps, twisting his arm behind him. A sickening crack. His elbow pops, and he drops his weapon with a howl of pain. She kicks it away, her knee screaming in protest, but she's alive. The burner phone is still pressed beneath her arm. Hensley's voice crackles, faint but urgent. "Monroe, report." The block beyond her is a war zone. Glass shatters, metal twists, inmates clash with guards in an anarchic symphony. Smoke seeps through the slot, acrid and thick. Aisha grabs Scar's fallen shiv. His edge is crude, but deadly. She drags Scar up, pinning her against the wall. Scar's breaths are ragged. "Get me out or you're my shield," Aisha demands. Scar nods, fear flickering through her bravado. "Yard's the only way." Aisha releases her, shoving her toward the door. The brutes groan on the floor. Aisha steps over them, the shiv her only weapon. Her nakedness is her defiance as she follows Scar into the chaos. The cell block is a battlefield. Flames lick the upper tier, a bunk burned by a Molotov cocktail. Glass shards crunch underfoot. Inmates swarm, some fighting guards, others fighting each other. The screams are primal, a chorus of chaos. Vance, a guard, swings his baton at a skinny prisoner, cracking her skull. Blood splatters. Another guard fires rubber bullets into the crowd. The thuds are sickening. Aisha ducks low, following Scar as they weave through the bedlam. Her bare feet slip on the wet concrete. The smoke claws at her lungs, but she spots the yard door. It's ajar. The guard slumped with a shiv buried in his gut. "Go!" Scar yells, darting ahead. Aisha follows, the burner phone a prayer against her skin. They burst into the yard, a 50 by 50 patch of dirt surrounded by razor wire. Floodlights above shine blindingly bright. Sirens wail in the distance, promising the MPs are close. But the yard is a trap. 5 inmates circle them, armed with pipes and chains. Travis's puppets, primed to finish her off. Scar bolts, abandoning Aisha. Alone now, Aisha faces them, the shiv her only defense. Her body is wrecked, but her spirit is steel. "Come on," she mutters, getting into a low stance. They charge. Pipes swing. Chains rattle. She dodges the first, a wiry man with a missing ear. The shiv slashes, opening his thigh. Blood spurts as he collapses. The second is a giant with a shaved head. He swings a pipe, slamming it into her shoulder. Pain explodes, but she rolls, stabbing his calf. He topples and Aisha kicks him away. Helicopters buzz overhead. Their rotors thrum like a thunderclap. Hope surges within her. Nellis's black choppers carve through the sky. She waves the shiv as a signal. Her voice is lost in the riot's roar. A chain lashes her back, pulling her forward. The burner phone slips from her grasp, hitting the dirt. "Hensley's here." His voice crackles, just as the choppers descend. Ropes drop, MPs rappelling down, rifles at the ready. But Travis's hand strikes. Private security, his hired guns, emerge from the jail's roof, ready to do his bidding. Submachine guns roar as bullets rake the yard, and an MP crumples, blood pooling around him. The chopper lurches, its tail smoking as it spins, crashing into the desert beyond the wire in a fireball that lights up the night. Aisha scrambles, the phone clutched tightly to her chest. Her attackers scatter as the MPs return fire, their M4S barking. She's cornered, pinned by a crumbling wall. Security rounds ping inches from her head. Her shoulders are numb, her back raw, but she's still breathing. The shiv, slick with blood, is gripped in her hand. Travis's men advance. A dozen shadows in tactical gear. Their muzzle flashes a deadly strobe. The MPs falter, one shouting, "Fall back!" Aisha's hope crumbles. The rescue is here, but it's failing. Travis's power, a sledgehammer, is crushing her lifeline. She fought off the cell, the yard, and thought the choppers were her way out. But this is worse. A private army, a senator's wrath. She's naked, bleeding, and alone. The yard is a slaughterhouse. 2 inmates lie still, their pipes abandoned. An MP groans, clutching his leg, and the wrecked chopper burns, its rotor a twisted skeleton. A security thug looms, his rifle aimed at Aisha's chest, his mask hiding everything but his cold eyes. "Senator wants you gone," he grunts, his finger tightening on the trigger. Aisha braces herself, her shiv useless. Her body is spent. She's escaped Dust Creek, outrun Callahan, called Hensley twice, but Travis's reach is a noose, and it's tightening. The night knows the stakes. Her fight's not just survival anymore. It's a war against a dynasty, and the odds are crushing her. The jail yard is an inferno of smoke and blood. The crashed MP chopper, a blazing tomb, sits 50 yards beyond the razor wire, its heat scorching the 60 degrees Vegas night. Aisha Monroe crouches behind a crumbling wall, naked and battered, her shoulder numb, her back lashed raw by a chain. The shiv is slick with enemy blood in her hand. Travis Callahan's private security, 12 black-clad mercenaries, fan out across the yard, their submachine guns spitting fire, pinning down the Nellis MPs who had rappelled in to save her. Bullets tear up the concrete inches from her head, dust stinging her eyes. The burner phone still clutched against her chest. its cracked screen glowing with Hensley's last words. "We're here." An MP groans 10 feet away, his leg a red ruin. Aisha's breath is ragged. She's cornered, but not dead yet. A spotlight flares from the jail roof, blinding her. Senator Travis Callahan strides into the yard, his charcoal suit pristine amidst the carnage. His silver hair is a crown of untouchable power. His pistol gleams in his right hand, his left gripping a megaphone. He raises it with a smirk, restoring order. He bellows, his voice booming over the gunfire, the sirens, and the screams. "This rogue soldier's done. Her kind doesn't belong here." The her kind cuts deep, a racist dagger, and Aisha's jaw tightens. Her shiv trembles with rage. He's 50 feet away, flanked by 2 guards, his mercenaries closing in. Aisha knows this is it, his endgame, her execution, a spectacle to bury her defiance. The thug nearest her steps forward, rifle aimed at her heart. His mask is a blank slate of death. "Senator wants you gone," he grunts, his finger curling on the trigger. But Aisha moves fast, feral. A soldier's last surge. She rolls to the left, the shot blasting dirt where she'd just been. She hurls herself at him, the shiv slashing across his wrist. Blood sprays as the rifle drops, and she tackles him into the wall. Her knee drives into his gut. He crumples, gasping. She snatches his pistol, a heavy Glock, fully loaded. Her hand is steady despite the strain. Travis shouts, "Kill her!" And the yard erupts in new violence. Bullets carve through the air as Aisha dives back behind cover, the Glock her new fong. The MPs rally, their M4s barking, taking down 2 mercenaries in a hail of lead. But Travis's men are relentless. Their fire pins the soldiers near the wire. Aisha peers out, spotting Travis pacing, his pistol raised. His face is a mask of fury. "You're nothing," he roars, aiming at her wall. He fires. Concrete explodes, shards slicing into her arm, but she's still alive. Her Glock snaps up, and she squeezes off 2 shots, precise. Travis jerks back, the megaphone shattering in his hand. But his vest catches the rounds, leaving him staggering, not down. He laughs wildly and charges closer. 30 feet now, his Beretta blazing recklessly. A tyrant unhinged. Aisha ducks as the wall crumbles. She hears a familiar roar, tires screeching beyond the fence. Dust Creek's nightmare reborn. 2 figures burst from a battered cruiser at the gate. Brett Callahan and Dale Pute, freed by Travis's pull. Their faces are bloody but alive. Shotguns in their fists. Brett's arm is slung, Pute limping, but both are intact. A venomous echo of the gulch. "Finish her," Travis yells. Brett and Pute charge, shells pumping. Blasts shred the dirt near Aisha's feet. An MP screams as a slug tears into his shoulder, blood misting the air. Aisha's stomach lurches. There's a pack now, 3 Callahans against her. A dynasty of rage. She bolts, bare feet pounding, dodging Pute's next shot. The buckshot grazes her thigh, a hot sting, but she ignores it. Brett is slower, his arm useless, but his shotgun is alive. He blasts an MP's cover to splinters. Aisha dives behind a rusted barrel, the Glock steady in her hand. She fires once, twice. Pute's knee explodes, bone and blood spraying. He collapses, howling, his shotgun clattering to the ground. Brett spins, his good arm swinging, and fires. The barrel's edge clips her scalp. A red haze blurs her vision, but she stumbles, rights herself, and shoots. The bullet catches Brett in the chest. His vest saves him, but he drops, wheezing. Travis is 20 feet away now, his Beretta clicking empty. He snarls, tossing it aside, and draws a combat knife from his belt. 6 inches, serrated, a killer's tool. "You're mine!" he screams, lunging. Aisha scrambles up, the Glock jammed from grit, useless. He slashes with the blade, nicking her arm. Blood wells, and she twists, tackling him into the dirt. Her shiv is lost in the fray as they roll, his weight crushing her. His knife arcs toward her throat. She catches his wrist, muscles burning, and drives her forehead into his nose. Cartilage crunches, blood gushes, and he roars, slashing wildly, cutting her shoulder with a shallow gash. Aisha twists his arm, the knife falling, and slams her palm into his jaw once, twice, knocking him back. She grabs the blade, her hands slick, and pins him, its edge at his throat. Her breath is ragged, a snarl escaping. "It's over," she spits, blood dripping onto his suit. He glares, unbowed, his teeth red. "Never!" he chokes, but the yard shifts. MPs storm in, rifles raised, boots pounding, their captain shouting, "Stand down!" Travis's mercenaries hesitate, then drop outgunned, their submachine guns clattering as Nellis takes control. Brett groans, Pute cries out, and Aisha rolls off Travis, the knife still in her grasp. Her body is wrecked but victorious. The MPs cuff Travis, his silver hair matted with dirt, his suit torn, his empire cracking. "You'll pay," he mutters, but the captain hauls him up, his wrists bound, his power snuffed. Brett and Pute are dragged away, their shotguns confiscated, their fight bled out. Brett's chest heaves, Pute's leg a ruin. Aisha staggers to her feet, naked but unashamed, the MPs flanking her, their rifles a shield she's earned. Medics rush in, wrapping her in a blanket, but she waves them off, her eyes locked on Travis. His glare fades as he's shoved into the van. She's beaten them, Callahan's dynasty, his jail, his guns, all with a shiv, a phone, and her will. The yard quiets. Flames die down, the chopper's wreckage a smoldering husk. Aisha's shoulder bleeds, her thigh stings, but she stands tall. The MPs salute her, their captain muttering, "Hell of a fight, Colonel." She nods, exhaustion crashing in. The burner phone shattered in the chaos, a relic of her lifeline. Travis's last stand failed, his brother and thug broken, his mercenaries surrendered, and the night's victory is hers. Hard-won, brutal, complete. She thinks it's over. The Callahan empire crushed. Justice claws through the desert, silent, as medics tend to her. MPs secure the scene, and Vegas glimmers beyond. A city she's reclaimed. But the night's omniscient whispers linger like a shadow. Travis's defeat isn't final. His power cracked, not shattered, and Aisha's victory, glorious and bloody, has painted a bigger target on her back. She's safe for now, the MP's her fortress. But the Callahan venom festers, a thread unsevered. Her fight's pause isn't its end. The Nevada sun climbs over Las Vegas, painting the city in gold. 3 days after the jail yard showdown, its light spills into a Pentagon office in Washington, D.C., where Aisha Monroe sits across from Major Carla Hensley. She's back in uniform, crisp, the silver oak leaves gleaming on her collar, her shoulders stitched, her thigh bandaged. Her body is a map of fading bruises from Travis Callahan's war. The room's stark, mahogany desk, the American flag, the window framing the Potomac, and the air's cool at 72 degrees, a stark contrast to the desert furnace she survived. News feeds buzz on a muted TV, hailing her as a hero. Colonel thwarts corrupt senator. Dust Creek cops indicted. Travis, Brett, and Pute in custody. Their empire of hate cracked wide. Aisha sips coffee, the bitter warmth grounding her. She's one step closer to being whole, or so she believes. Hensley, a stern woman with graying hair and a no-nonsense stare, leans forward, her hands clasped. "You're cleared, Monroe." Travis's warrants were forged, shredded. The FBI's got him on racketeering, assault, murder for hire. Brett and Pute too, attempted murder, corruption. "You're a damn legend." Aisha nods, a faint smile tugging at her lips, relief washing through her like a tide. "Couldn't have done it without you, Major. That phone call, twice, saved me." Hensley smirks, a rare crack in her armor. "You saved yourself, Colonel. The MPs found you standing over Travis like a warrior goddess. Naked, bloody, knife in hand. Hell of a sight." Aisha chuckles, the sound rough but real, her mind flashing to the yard, the Glock, the shiv, her defiance in the dirt. The TV flickers, showing Travis in cuffs, his suit rumpled, his silver hair wild as he's shoved into a federal van. Senator Callahan indicted. The ticker reads. Aisha's chest lightens. Justice, hard-earned, delivered. She'd outrun Brett's cruiser, escaped Dust Creek's cell, fought off Travis's riot, and faced his knife with her bare hands. The Pentagon's backing, Hensley's voice, the MP's rifles. They tipped the scales, but her grit carried her through. She's back in D.C., her medical unit awaiting her, her career intact, her name a shield again. Hensley slides a commendation across the desk. The Silver Star is pending approval. Aisha's breath catches, pride swelling for valor. You've earned it, Hensley says. A knock interrupts. A courier, young and nervous, steps in with a padded envelope. No return address, marked Monroe. Hensley frowns, waving him off, but Aisha tears it open, curiosity piqued. Inside, a USB drive, plain black, with a scribbled note, "Watch me." Her gut tightens, a whisper of unease cutting through her triumph. She plugs it into Hensley's laptop. The screen flickers to life, grainy footage loads, a jail yard. Her yard, shot from above. The timestamp, 3 nights ago. It's her, naked, pinning Travis, his bloodied face snarling under her knife, the MPs closing in. But the audio is warped, her voice twisted, screaming, "I'll kill you all," a lie stitched into the frames. The edit flips her fight into frenzy, her victory into madness. Travis is the victim. She's the beast. Aisha's coffee slips, splashing across the desk. Her pulse hammers. "This isn't right," she says, her voice low, urgent. Hensley's eyes narrow as she replays it. "Deep fake," she mutters. "Someone's good, too good." The footage cuts, Travis dragged off, Aisha standing tall. Then loops her threat, echoing. A narrative flipped upside down. Aisha's mind races. Travis's men, loyalists. The postmark, Nevada, Dust Creek stamp faint. But clarity and dread coil in her gut. She's crushed them, seen them cuffed. But this is a counterstrike. Venomous ghosts clawing back. Hensley yanks the drive, her voice grim. "We'll trace it. The FBI can crack this. It's not over." The TV blares, unmuted by Hensley's remote, and Aisha's blood freezes. Travis, free, standing on the courthouse steps, his suit pressed, his nose bandaged, but his smirk intact. Released on a technicality, the anchor announces. Evidence mishandled, charges pending review. He speaks live, his voice smooth and triumphant. "I'm running for governor to restore justice, to protect Nevada from rogue soldiers like Aisha Monroe. She attacked me, my family. The video proves it, and we'll fight back." The USB's footage flashes on screen, her edited scream, a dagger to her name, and the crowd cheers, a sea of red hats swallowing his lies. Aisha's chair scrapes back, her legs weak. The Silver Star is forgotten on the desk. Hensley curses, slamming the remote, but Aisha remains silent, staring at the screen. Travis, unbound and unbowed. His indictment a hiccup, not a fall. Her phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. "You'll never win." The room spins, her victory, ash in her mouth. The Pentagon's might, a paper shield against his pull. She'd beaten him in the yard, broken his dynasty, but now he's flipped it. Her heroism is his crime, his racism a rallying cry. The desert's omniscience had known. Travis's defeat was a mirage. His power a hydra, and this twist is his venom reborn. She's a hero on paper, a villain on air, and the fight is far from over. It's metastasized. SA stands, her uniform crisp but her spirit dented. Hensley's barking into the phone, "Get me the FBI now." But the weight is hers alone. Travis's gubernatorial run is declared, her name his weapon, and Nevada is his battlefield. She survived his jail, his guns, his knife. Thought the MP's cuffs were the end, but this is worse. A lie louder than truth, a system bending back to him. Her coffee is cold, the commendation hollow, and the Potomac gleams outside, indifferent. She's not broken, not yet. Her shiv hand steady, her resolve an ember. But the fight has flipped, a new gauntlet, and Travis's smoke promises hell she can't outrun yet. The office hums. Hensley's voice fades, and Aisha stares at the USB. Its black shell, a grenade unpooled. Dust creaks, dust clings to her, invisible, and Travis's rise is her shadow, lengthening. She'd won the yard, the precinct, the highway, but this twist, this edit, this release is his checkmate for now. The war is not over. It's reborn, uglier, bigger. And Aisha's alone again, a soldier against a state. Her valor a spark in a storm she'll have to ignite. Aisha Monroe's journey through the jaws of racism and corruption teaches us raw, unfiltered truths. First, resilience is a weapon. Her grit, forged in the Army Reserve, carried her from a roadside stop to a jail yard showdown, proving that inner strength can defy even the most brutal odds. She faced Officer Brett Callahan's slurs, Dale Pute's fists, and Senator Travis Callahan's empire, each blow heavier than the last. Yet, she stood tall, a kernel unbroken by hate. Second, power doesn't always wear a badge. It hides in systems, in forged warrants, in edited lies that flip heroes into villains. Travis's final twist, turning Aisha's triumph into his campaign fuel, shows how deep corruption runs, bending justice to shield the wicked. Third, allies matter. Major Hensley's voice through that burner phone was a lifeline, a reminder that even in isolation, connection can shift the tide. But the biggest lesson, victory is fragile. Aisha crushed the Callahans in the dirt, only to see Travis rise on a technicality. Her valor twisted into his narrative. It's a gut punch. Fighting racism isn't a single battle. It's a war, relentless and shifting, demanding we stay vigilant. This story screams that prejudice thrives where accountability falters, and one woman's courage can spark change, even if it's incomplete. Aisha is not done, and neither should we be. Her fight mirrors countless real struggles, urging us to question, resist, and amplify truth against lies. So, what do you think? Can one person's stand really topple a corrupt system? Or is Travis's comeback proof that the deck's always stacked? Comment below, hit like if Aisha's fire inspires you, and subscribe and share to keep this fight alive. Thanks for writing this wild tale with us. Here's to courage outlasting every storm.